If you guys, hey guys, okay, go back. If you guys are long-term subscribers, if you guys are long-term subscribers, I want to say long time. Like, why are we saying term? Why are we choking? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Mackenzie. If you guys are long-time subscribers, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I've just sat in front of the camera and talked to you guys in a personal way. And so I want to do a 25 things I've learned by 25. I'm only 25 for 4.5 more months. I don't know how I'm gonna be 26 in June. That is crime, throw up, cry, puke. First, I just wanna mention I just got back from Dance with the Stars. So I had to correct, fix up my makeup a little bit. It's definitely giving like crusty, dusty, musty, ripping off, shredding off, like flaking off all the things, like dry, very dry. So I just put a claw clip back. This is fine. This is like camera ready, this is fine. The back of my head.
The back of your head is ridiculous.
Dance with the Stars live. This was my favorite one. I've been to 3 so far. Because I know we usually vlog it, but this year I just really wanted to be in the moment and have a lot of fun, so I didn't vlog. But I did get some clips, so I'll insert them here.
Nobody gets me, oh no.
And nonetheless, 25 things I've learned. When they I guess this will just lead into my first one. When they say your frontal lobe is developed by 25, they were lying. Nobody lied, no lies detected. When I was younger, I'd be like, okay, like you turn 25 and all of a sudden something clicks. And it's not necessarily that something clicks, but there is a shift in your thoughts, in your mental, and like what matters to you, what doesn't matter to you, and you grow a lot. There is just a shift that happens in you, and you all of a sudden just want to do the things for your career, you want to do better for yourself, you want to like really find someone to like create a life with, you want to find all the things, you start really desiring to put the puzzle pieces together, known as life. I personally, this doesn't speak for everyone, but for me, I feel a little less lost. I feel like I've gotten my bearings a little better. I think your 20s are freaking hard, and nobody really tells you, they tell you that, but you don't truly get it until you go through your 20s. The decision-making decade, it's the time to make all those mistakes, make all the decisions over the decade, and then your 30s is when hopefully you have a little bit more established and figured out. The amount of changing that you do just from 20 to 25, 21 to 25, 22, even 23 to 25, that jump from 23 to 25 felt two different completely people. You don't really know you're changing. It's just one day you're like, wait, that is different. I'm seeing that through a different lens than I did when I was 20, when I was 21, Your 20s are something. That is what I've learned. What you do now affects you later. I've learned this just by going through life with a chronic illness, and it's very true and specific to cystic fibrosis, transplant. So I knew from a young age, had just a bad start. From a young age, my lungs weren't healthy. They weren't going to be, sustainable for the rest of my life. And so I knew the inevitable was a transplant. I feel like I probably didn't grasp that feeling until I was older. Wish I could go back and tell my younger self that what I'm doing right now is going to affect me later. I wasn't the best at being compliant with my treatments or taking the best care of myself that I possibly could, because I wanted more to just be a normal person. And so a lot of times I acted in ways that someone with CF just shouldn't act, and just dumb and young. You're allowed to be young and dumb, but I think if I could go back and tell myself, it would be to really be a lot more vigilant with my health, because I might have been able to avoid transplant a little bit longer. I knew I was going to get one just because that was just my destiny, but I didn't make it any better by not really taking the best top-notch care of myself. That goes with diet, things you do, things you're putting in your body. You feel fine. You feel like it's not affecting me, and that's because you don't feel it till later. That can apply to anything. And yeah, I really honestly am so big on like what are you doing right now? You're not feeling the effects of it, but you will in 10 years. How much of a difference you see in your bank account when you stop eating out? That is huge. Being 25, I wish, again, like you can't go back, but if I could go back, I would be better at financially handling myself. And I noticed just with being diagnosed with diabetes, and now I don't like to eat out as much. I definitely eat out sometimes, whatever. I used to get out a lot, and you see that difference in your bank account. When you stop going to Starbucks every day of the week, you see that difference. When you stop going to McDonald's, all the things, you see how much money you are saving. It's truly, if you added it up, it would make you a little bit sick. How much I love songwriting. Growing up, I was never good at songwriting. I mean, I would try to sit down and write a whole song, and I just couldn't. For some reason, I could not unlock that part of my brain that allowed me to write a full song. I do feel like after having a transplant, I was able to think of life a lot deeper. I became a lot more of a deeper person and found a lot more depth within me. And I wonder if that's why I'm able to write songs now, because I can really reach down and get the feelers out, you know? And I write about real things. I have a few songs out now. I have my Forever Change song, which is about my transplant donor, all of that. My song about heartbreak boy situation, and a song about, you know, being a teenager in 2016 and all of that. And those are all really personal songs to me. I like to write songs that are real and I went through, because I'm able to really pull from a personal place that I know also can translate into other people's lives, and they can put their own story into it. And I think like that's what's really, really cool about songwriting. I think songwriting is magical and I love it. I love listening to songs because I love lyrics. I'm such a lyric person. Songwriting is so fascinating to me. The importance of female friendship. I'm someone who feels incredibly blessed by the people that I have made my friends in my life. I feel like from lifelong friends, childhood friends, to newer friends I made since moving to Tennessee, like I have always cultivated a very good circle around me. I can say I can't really think of many people in my life that I've had falling outs with, or like I've had bad blood with. I just feel like I've always had good people in my circle, and I'm very lucky. I know I'm very lucky to have the best friends that I have, because some people just aren't that lucky. And I honestly didn't know that. Like I thought everyone had best friends and everyone has at least like one best friend, and some people just don't have that friend figure in their life, or that best friend figure. It makes me fully never take my friends for granted, and especially female friendship is so important, because there's just, it's a bond like no other, and it's such a sisterhood that you create, especially like your childhood friends. They know you like no one knows you. They've seen you through every stage of life, and it's so special. And then your newer friends that you make as you get older, they are there with you to see you through, you know, another season of your life. And I think that's really special. And the girls that I met in esthetician school and from work, there was a time that I definitely moved here and thought, I'm not gonna find friends. What's the point in finding friends? Because I have such good friends back at home. And I was like, I don't want them to replace them. And I couldn't understand the concept of you can have different groups of friends. Like they don't have to replace your old friends or be, you know, in like place of them. It doesn't take away from your friendships back at home. It's just newer groups of people that you can now have friends with here. And I now understand that. How much I love being an aunt. I was never someone who babysat as a kid. I never felt connected to kids. I think it's just because I was the youngest in my family. I never had a baby to look after. I was the baby, so I just never felt any type of connection to kids until Haven was born. So Haven's my first nephew that was born, and I now have 3 nephews, and Haven, August, and Archie, and I love them so much. I feel like my own children, and it's fun because I get to put them back when I'm done. That's the key. That is the kicker. I feel a really good connection with them, and I love it. It makes me want kids of my own, maybe. Do not compare yourself to people on social media. Social media is a highlight reel, and most of the time, the things that they're putting out, if you were there in real life, it's just not as fun. It's not as cool. and you're really not missing out on much that you feel like you are. Or when they're doing this, or they're over here in this country and they're doing all that, it's like your time will come. Comparison is truly the thief of joy. Like, you comparing yourself is doing nothing to yourself but just destroying your own happiness. It is a dark tunnel to walk down, to go down that road of comparison game on social media. And I know it's like definitely it's easier said than done, because we all do it. I still do it sometimes too. Real, like, no one's posting them. I mean, sometimes people post like a mental post and things like that, and they're real and raw. But for the most part, it's like, it's all the best, highest points and peaks of someone's life, you know? But everybody is struggling behind the scenes. Happiest person on earth, they're going through something, or have gone through something. Everyone's life, nobody's perfect, even when they seem like they are. There's angles, there's the highlights, there's the best of the best. They're not going to show the lowest of the low. You are not an adult at 18. You just feel like you are such a grown person at 18. But once you are 25, you look back and realize how much of a baby you are at 18. I don't know why they claim 18 as an adult, like you hardly know anything. You are thrown into a world where you're just supposed to know how to navigate it, and you don't. Still don't really through your 20s, like you're finding that out. You're finding yourself. You don't know who you are at 18. And if you feel like you do, that's great. But I'm telling you, like, I felt like I knew everything about myself. I knew who I was very secure. It's not that you don't, but like once you're 25, you realize how much pivotal growth happens in those 7 years. I promise you will feel it, and you will know what I mean. You'll just look at life differently. You will understand yourself more. You'll just have a more understanding of who you are, what you want out of life, how important it is to move away from your hometown. I was someone who, when I was little, knew I wanted to move away from my hometown. But then once it actually was a real thing, I was really scared to move here with my mom, because I was leaving everything I ever known. I had a very tight bond with people from my school, my best friends, my family. Everything I ever knew was back in Ohio, and moving somewhere else was like really, really scary. And it wasn't until even just probably like 9 months ago, I got into school, honestly, that I felt more happy here. I have more of a life here. I have more here for me than I did when I first got here. Like, I have, my hospital's here, my friends are here, my whole other family's here, and my friends are here. I have more going on. I do more. I make memories here. I'm forming new memories here. That was the thing too, is I was leaving a lot behind. I'm such a nostalgic person, and so I was like, I'm leaving all my memories behind. All my childhood is there, and I still feel like that. Like, I'm going home back to Ohio in a few weeks, and I'm so excited because it's my place where I feel the most grounded and normal, and like, this is my home and my peace. But I'm happy to be in Tennessee now. But moving out of your hometown is so important. People tell you that, but then once you actually do it, you realize how important it is for your mind to expand so much, especially if you come from a small town. I'm from a very small town. This is not a knock on my hometown. This is just a thing that happens when you are from a small town. You're surrounded by the same things every day. You're living the same experiences, and you never branch out and realize how big the world actually is. And I just moved to Tennessee, and so it's not like I know everything about the world and I'm all of a sudden like a genius and I know everything about myself, and no. For me personally, it made a lot of growing happen for me. It helped me discover more about myself, and it helped me get away from toxic things, and it helped me realize things that I don't want and I want to be no longer a part of. Sometimes to get over something, or to get rid of a toxic situation you are in, or a toxic cycle, you have to remove yourself fully from that to realize there's so much more for you than what is in your hometown. It makes you more knowledgeable about the world, a lot more accepting, a lot more open-minded. Because with dating, friendships, places, foods, culture, everything. It's so cool moving away, looking outside your small town bubble. It's great. And like, for me, it really helped me expand on my thoughts on like what I'm gonna accept from people, what I want for my future, what I want in my future person. Like, it's been the best for self-discovery, moving away from your hometown. Good to go, and then it's good to come back if you want to come back, because you always can come back. Sometimes I want to go back to my hometown and be there for the rest of my life. I don't know where life's going to take me, but I love my small town, so I don't know. A quality that I need to find in someone is someone who is patient and calm, because as for me, I am not the most patient nor calm. And I try to be, I strive to be, but that is just not in my DNA, in my blood. And you guys might be shocked by that, I don't really know. Like, it's fun, I'm not like a maniac, but I don't have patience. It's not something that's in me, it's not something that is naturally flowing through my veins. What is flowing through my veins is if a inanimate object is not doing what I need it to be doing, it may be thrown. It's not something I'm proud of, but I just need someone who, when I am wild and I am like worked up and trying to like, oh my God, I need someone who is able to reel that back in and calm me down. Be my patience when I need that. Advocating for yourself and realizing how important that is. So as you get older, you realize how many people just do not care. Nobody cares about you as much as you do, and your body and your well-being. Most people do not do their job too, as you realize. And so sometimes that's like why you're trying to call the insurance company 7,000 times, because they do not return your call, because they'll say they'll call you back and they don't. You know, you have to be on top of it. You have to look out for yourself, because people most of the times are not going to do it for you and like help you and go the extra mile. 1 in a million people that are going to do everything for you and go that extra mile and like totally be an amazing human, and that's always so fun to find. But 9 times out of 10, they're not. Most people are not gonna bend over backwards for you. You have to bend over backwards for yourself. Also, living with a chronic illness and dealing with doctors my whole life too, it's so important to know your body, advocate for yourself. I respect doctors' opinions, and I feel like I respect them because they're knowledgeable. They went through school, they're knowledgeable people, but they know what they are taught and they know what they deal with, but they don't feel what you feel. They don't go through what you go through. So I believe like nobody knows your body like you do, and that's why advocating for yourself is so important, and knowing how to speak up for yourself and speak up when things aren't right. You have gut feelings for a reason, and it's so important to use them. How much I love cooking. I did not think I was gonna be someone who loved cooking. My dad has always been the cook in our family. I never really liked cooking until after transplant, and that's also really interesting. A lot of things progressed for me after transplant. That probably is just a coincidence of when my life was just transitioning and I was getting older. I enjoy cooking so much. I think that has to do with like my love for food. So I love preparing something, thinking of a recipe, making it, sometimes just winging it. I love cooking. Think about my kitchen like every other day, my future kitchen, and I just need I need a big island. I need to make lots of money, so I have a big island so I can cook meals all the time and have very much fun. Creating to-do lists. I never thought I'd be the person to write all my lists down. I'm totally that person now. I check everything off. Sometimes I write things just so I can check them off. Let me know if you do that, like this video if you do, because I know that that's probably a common thing, and I just love getting things done. I've become way more of a type A person. I was definitely type B as a teenager and then early 20s, and then something like switched within me, and I like to be way more type A. Be on top of things and to stop procrastinating. Procrastination used to be my middle name. I waited till the last minute to get everything done. Sometimes I still have those tendencies and those type B situations come out, but for the most part, I love getting things done. And I love being disciplined and being like, okay, I'm not going to go out, I'm not gonna do this fun thing until I get X, Y, and Z done, you know, like laundry, dishes, and like getting my meds put away or something done first. Then I'll do the fun thing I want to do, because I'll feel more accomplished and like I earned my way. I've learned as I've gotten older that I thrive with structure. Without being in school, these 6 months really made me realize, like, when I get up and I have breakfast and lunch and dinner, and then I know when I'm taking my meds, and I've always been good at my meds, but like when I'm taking meds are in there and I'm on top of like more of a sleep schedule and waking up and all of that, I've learned in between of all that, I'm really good at getting what I need done. Because when I don't have that type B energy comes back a little bit, and with not being in school anymore, I just graduated, I am making to-do lists. every day and getting little things done here and there, just so I don't get lazy, I don't get complacent, and I can have good productive days still without having a full day where I'm like scheduled to be at school or something. Quality over quantity always. So this is with friendships, with people that you decide to have in your life. It is not important to be friends with everyone, to let everyone know your secrets, to let everyone know the whole life story, but it's so nice to have quality people who you can trust. You can put your like confidence in that they're going to be a good person to you. And when you're younger, you think everyone needs to like you, everyone needs to be your best friend. Not true. Like when you get older, you're so much more comfortable in a smaller circle with people that mean the most to you. I've learned how much communication really fixes everything. My family and I aren't the best communicators, but I think I learn from that and how I want to approach a romantic relationship, that I want to be a good communicator, because truly I've seen it happen in real life, like how much communication can just fix the issue in 1 second, and how addressing issues head on and just being like, not confrontational, but confronting an issue if you feel like it just needs to be said is so much better than holding it in, and then you get resentment and all the things. And it's just good to have effective communication skills because it solves so many issues. Nostalgia does get me a lot. It puts me in a sad mood sometimes, honestly, just to look back on life. But I realize getting older how much moving forward is so much better. And like making future memories and what lies ahead is so fun to think about. All of the things that I still have yet to do in life. Creating a life with someone, marriage, kids, my job, my career, what I'm doing with my dreams and aspirations and everything that I want to do is really cool. People I'm going to still meet in this life that are like meant to love me still is so cool to think about. Fun to reminisce and think about the old times, but it's even better to create a future and to move forward and not stay in the past. Because I feel like back then I used to really get in ruts about how much I missed my old life. And every now and then like it still comes back, but it just doesn't hit me as much as it used to even like 2 years ago, honestly. How much you go through different seasons and how everything is temporary. When you were going through it, when you were in a down season, you feel like you will never get out of it, you are lost, you will never see your way through, the other side doesn't exist. And I'm here to tell you from someone who's been through it a lot, there's always the light at the end of the tunnel, there's always a way through, and unfortunately like the only way through is through it. And you have to feel it, and you have to feel every bit of every emotion of the things you go through. This is so cliche, but like having those tough, dark moments make you appreciate when life is good and you are so happy. Everything's temporary. You are going to get through it. You have to think like, if I have gotten through this once, like I will get through it again. And you have to tell yourself too that like, if you know that you are able to get through it, you are already halfway there. There was a lot of times, even just a few years ago, where I had no sense of direction. I was so overwhelmed with life. Asked my friends, I talked to them about it all the time. I talked to my sisters about it, my mom about it. I was like, what am I doing? I don't know what I want to do. What am I going to do this? I'm never going to find my way out. I'm never going to find someone to date. No one's ever going to want to date me. I was just very doomsday. But also I'm a very positive person, so like it didn't stay for very long, but I could get there. And then I would pull myself out and it would be fine. You will step by step figure out yourself. What is attractive at 25 versus what is attractive at 20 is very different. Guys who are too cool for school, who act like they don't care, that is not attractive anymore or appealing. It just doesn't do anything for me. There are some guys that to this day still act like that middle school boy who their way of flirting is being rude or acting like you don't matter, they don't care, they have that don't care, too cool for school attitude, and you're like, cool. So I'm gonna go over here and talk to this person who is actually being nice, because it's cool to be nice, I promise. And you will find more girls that way. You want to find someone who cares about you, who's going to compliment you, who's going to act like they like you, who's going to show that they like you, not just talk about it, but show you. It's attractive to care. Games do not interest me. Like when you're a teenager, for whatever reason, games are attractive, and that kind of toxicity. And toxicity, for some reason, you have like adrenaline and a rush for it, and it does interest you, and like it's fun. People don't think that, but I feel like I went through a phase where like exhilarating to almost be in a toxic situation, and then you become 25 and you're like, I have no willingness or business to like be a part of any of that anymore. The games and the stupidity, like I'm so good. So like the second you show a red flag of that and you're gonna be that way, like I'm just not going to entertain that. Like I'm not going to entertain weirdos. Can you tell that was a little personal? I've realized how much I loved being a dreamer, and I will always keep that dreamer mentality inside. That has made me a really passionate person, a inspired person. As I've gotten older, like I've realized the importance in being more realistic with myself and like coming down from the clouds a little bit. I don't want to lose the spirit of being a dreamer, because I think that has really given me a lot of spirit and passion of life. But I'm going to be a little more realistic on finding, you know, a career that is gonna sustain me financially, because for the longest time I was very like prideful in the fact that I was going to be a YouTuber and that was it, and I was going to make it work. And I'm still gonna do YouTube because I love it and it's a passion of mine, and if it goes somewhere one day, that's so fun, and it's not gonna be like my sole purpose of life. What is my career, and like focusing on aesthetics and skin and makeup and my other passions of like singing, songwriting, music, like all those things I'm gonna keep inside of me, and I'm always gonna do them, and I'm gonna pursue them if the opportunity ever presented itself, because I love that. Dates are fun and I wanna go on more of them. Dates do not have to be nerve-wracking. I think we naturally become nervous because we just are meeting someone new. And I also learned how much I would rather not go on a sit-down date and like stare at each other while we eat. I wanna go do something. I wanna play darts. I wanna go to an arcade. I wanna go bowling. Maybe not bowling, that's a little the walk back. Shows me a lot about a person, and then I can show them a lot about myself too. It feels less like an interview where you're sitting face to face and you're asking all these questions and it's like so serious, and it takes down that wall of we have to be so serious and put together. Maintaining diabetes can be fun and satisfying, and it's also really good to look at ingredients in your food in general. Knowing that you're fueling your body, making your body feel good, and that you're giving yourself the nutrients to feel good and to perform well, it just in life is very good. And it makes you feel better knowing that you're eating things that are direct correlation to your brain. Go through life a lot clearer and have a lot more energy and confidence, and like your mental health becomes better when you eat better, and a lot of things just get better when you're fueling your body, because food is like truly fueling you to be your best. When I was younger, I didn't understand that. I was like, I will eat whatever I want and nothing will ever happen to me. I won't get diabetes. Knock, knock, knock goes diabetes. Also knowing that it's doing well for your body, especially as a diabetic, because you know doing better for your organs, your pancreas, your lungs, your liver, your kidneys, like your kidneys, your liver, all of that get a really big hit with diabetes. I realized the importance of healthy eating and also just a well-balanced meal. And it's fun for me to go to the grocery store to look up meals, to look up meals on TikTok, to look up meals online on Facebook, follow registered dietitians and real life people living with diabetes and seeing what they do, and getting all this knowledge through social media is really fun. At the age of 25, like learning how important it is to care for my body. It's the only one you get. Appreciating the medical devices that I used to feel embarrassed by when I was younger. For example, my oxygen. So I remember a specific time when I was 19 years old and I was being put on oxygen. And I feel like when you're a teenager, you want to be a teenager. You want to be a true teenager. And when you have a chronic illness, and especially one where you are leading towards a double lung transplant, lived a life where your disease was invisible, and now all of a sudden everybody knows you're sick because you have a nose cannula in and you have oxygen. So now everybody knows you're sick. You're 19. Everyone wonders why. They look at you, they're staring at you. There was this specific moment where I walked in, I had my family reunion and I could not go into the reunion because I knew I was gonna be wearing my oxygen. And I probably sat in the car for a good 45 minutes before I went in. I cried, I didn't want to go. I fought my doctors on getting a feeding tube. If I could go back to who I was then in the body that I am now, I would tell myself, like, girl, I know this feels embarrassing. I know you just want to be normal, but the reality of it is that you're not normal. And to get to this better side of life that I'm living right now, please embrace the changes and don't take for granted like what these medical devices are doing for you, because they're gonna allow you to get to the better side of life. And I wish I could go back and just be like, don't be embarrassed. It's easier said than done though when you're a teenager. And if I could go back, I would have been more acknowledging, but also I don't know if I would change the way I handled things, because I lived in a life where I had a lot of rose-colored glasses on, and it did help, it's in my song, cope with the things I fear. And it's true. Like, it really led me through life and through that time exactly how I needed to be led through it. Well, that was it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have loved being 25 so far. I feel like this was such a reinvention year. I'm gonna be 26, like I said, in 4.5 months. I'm gonna live it up being in the last few months of the first quarter of life. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And also comment down below what you guys learned before you were 25, or what you've learned so far in life if you're not 25, or just any age you are. Comment down below things that you've learned in this life and that you think are important. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
There's always gonna be another